So today's video is going to be on why being rich is for broke people with broke mindsets. I know the title sounds a little funny, but just stick with me. If you've ever wondered why some people work so hard their whole lives and never get rich, here's the truth. Being rich isn't just about money, but it's about the mindset, right? It's about how you think about being rich. It's about the habits that you form over time. Rich people with broke habits always fail because rich is what you can show. Rich is the jewelry that you have. Rich is the cars that you have that everybody can see. Rich people with broke habits always fail. And broke people with broke mindsets, they stay broke well forever, right? That's because being broke is a mindset, right? You're not just naturally broke. That doesn't naturally happen. There's something that you did or didn't do that caused you to be broke. It's a mentality thing, right? You can wake up tomorrow and be like, okay, I'm gonna go get a job. I'm gonna work 5 days a week. I'm gonna start saving. I'm gonna start learning how to invest. Just because your mindset is switching now, you're getting out of that mindset of being a broke person. Now you're becoming someone who's actually wealthy, right? Wealthy in your mind. That's one of the things you have to understand. In this video, I'm going to be breaking down why wealth starts in your mind first and not just in the things that you're doing, but the first step is in your mind. That's where you have to first build up the mindset to be wealthy, right? It doesn't start with your bank account. It doesn't start with saving first, but it starts in your mind. That's the first step. And I'm going to show you how to start thinking like someone who builds real money. Most people usually think that money is the problem, but it's really not. It's a mindset that they have. If you're rich but you still live paycheck to paycheck, you're broke still. That means you're broke mentally. Living paycheck to paycheck, you're basically in a reoccurring system where you're suffering every week because it's kind of like you're living on the edge. Oh my God, I'm getting paid this amount this uh week. Now you have to budget certain things and everything, your mind is going crazy. But the richest people, they don't just earn money. They think a little bit different and they set up their systems in a way that it's automated. A scarcity mindset always says, I can't afford it right now. But an abundance mindset says, how can I make this work? That's what you have to use. How can I make this work? That means creating systems. That means automating everything from your paycheck to your investments to create systems. So when you say, how can I make this work? You've already put that into work because you already have on the back end all your systems set in place. Everything is automated and you already have recurring investments. You already have recurring savings going into your emergency fund, which basically means your mindset on how money works has changed. Your mindset is a first step toward real wealth. That's the first step towards actually creating wealth. The common broke behaviors that you'll see, or the broke habits you'll see, is people spending before they save. These are what's keeping people broke even when they make money, right? People spending before they save. Let's just think about, why is it that the first thing that comes to your mind when you have money, you make plans to spend it? If it's not on necessities that you're spending your money on, you shouldn't be spending it. You should be taking that money, putting it up in your emergency fund, or learning how to invest and putting that money somewhere else, allowing some of that money to go into your Roth IRA account. That's how you build wealth. That's how you go out and put your money to work for you instead of spending. But usually the first thing that comes to our mind is, oh, let me go spend on this, let me go spend on that. You already make plans in your mind for that money. And I'm not gonna down you or talk bad about you or make it seem like you're doing something that's wrong. But in reality, you are actually doing something that's wrong. Because I used to be someone like that too. I was making plans for my money on what I'm gonna do with it as soon as it comes to my account. But it wasn't investment plans, it wasn't saving plans. It was more of like, yo, I'm gonna go spend on this. I have these 2, 3 new shirts I have in my cart. I'm gonna go buy, right? I'm gonna go buy some on Amazon. I'm gonna go buy this new gadget or this new tech thing I saw. So you always have something that you want to buy. You always have something that you plan to buy. And that's the cycle that we get locked into. Another thing is chasing status symbols instead of actually building assets, right? That's a key point because most of us, we want to look rich, especially those of you on social media. You want to look rich to your friends, to your peers, and you're always constantly comparing yourself to others, which leads you to wanting to look rich, which leads you to buying things to look rich, which means buying that car you can afford, going out, getting an apartment that you can't afford right now because you're already young. So there's no point of actually getting an apartment, paying it monthly. You're actually doing a disservice to yourself financially by getting an apartment early, too early, at a young age. I'm not going to go out and tell you not to get an apartment, not to do certain things, but I would advise you to tread lightly and think critically on how you want to do things before you do them, right? Because actually renting out, going out to get an apartment that you're going to live in, think about your rent money. Just times 1,200, 1,300, depending on where you live, times 12. That's 13, 14, 15,000 maybe for the whole year. Let's say you actually make in net income, not gross, but net. Because usually when you're calculating your money that you're making every year, you're supposed to actually be calculating net. When you're budgeting, you're supposed to calculate your net. Net is how much you make after taxes, after Medicare, after Social Security, after everything is deducted. Gross is usually everything that you make in total, but you don't take gross pay home, you take net pay home. That's why when you see on your when you see on your pay stub, you'll see, okay, you worked 40 hours and then you're getting paid $20. 40 times 20, 800, right? 40 times 20, 800. So you got paid 800, but then those deductions are coming in. Your Social Security, they're taking that out. Your Medicare, they're taking that out. Your, what else do they take out? Pretty much all your taxes, they're taking that out. So then it comes to net income. So instead of 800 that you saw that you worked for in total, you're now seeing like 680, right? That's net income. Net income is how much you make after all deductions, after all they take out Social Security, everything else. So that's the amount of money you're supposed to be actually calculating. So let's just say with rent money, let's just say 15,000, and then on the year you make 35. 35 in net. Because a lot of us are young right now. So imagine just having the rent payment due every month, and then also everybody drives a car, and obviously you're probably paying it on top of that. So where does that leave you with any type of money to save, to invest? That doesn't leave you with any saving or investing. And this is why I'm telling you, this goes back to my point of stop trying to live above your means. Stop trying to impress others out there. Just because you see one of your friends went and got an apartment and they live on their own, you don't understand, you don't know their situation. And they don't always show that side of, okay, I'm struggling to make rent this month. I'm struggling to even get $800, $900 to pay rent. They don't know that side because they don't share that side. They're obviously not gonna share that side. What they're gonna do is, hey yo, I just got this new apartment. I'm living good. I'm living by myself, right? And I understand it. Peace of mind, being alone in your own spot is always a good thing. But I would say think and calculate before you make that transition into having your own spot, into becoming an adult. A lot of us, we want to become adults too fast. And I think that's one of the biggest things. We want to leave our parents' house too quick. It's fine to leave your parents' crib, but I'm not going to be the one to tell you to leave, to stay. But I'm just giving you advice and what I've seen out there. So that's my thought on that. So just to become someone who's, instead of chasing status or chasing what others are showing on social media just to compare yourself to them, be someone who's building assets instead. Think logically, think more critically about yourself and about your saving, about your wealth building. Another thing is ignoring investments and relying only on salary. This is another important thing. When you're only thinking about the amount of money you're making and you're not investing in the market, you're not investing in appreciating assets. When you talk about appreciating assets, real estate, stocks, I don't want to get too much into crypto, but crypto's another one, right? I'm gonna only start talking a little bit more about crypto when we get into it. But when you talk about those appreciating assets, we mentioned real estate. That's a little bit harder to get into, especially if you're doing rental properties and things of that nature. But stocks is the main one I want to talk about. It's so easy, right? Because you're thinking solely on your salary, the amount of money that you're making, but you're not investing. You're capped out pretty much on how much money you can make. If you're getting paid 35,000 a year net income, that's how much you're going to make. But investments allows you to surpass that. Your investments allow that money to grow for you. So think about that. Instead of ignoring investing, not having a Roth IRA set up, not having a 401k set up, right? Not having a personal brokerage account open where you're investing into ETFs or something that you understand, a single stock that you understand, or an ETF, VOO, VTI, QQQ, those specific types of ETFs. Instead of investing into those, you're doing other stuff with your money and you're relying solely on your salary to build your wealth, and you think saving could build your wealth. You think you could save to become a millionaire. That's impossible. The amount of years it will take you to actually save and become a millionaire, uh, we would have to do the math. But I'm pretty sure it'll take more than 50, 60 years. After all your expenses, after rent, after your car payments, after insurance, after healthcare insurance, after everything, it would take you many years, more than 60, more than 70, more than 80, right? But investing pretty much cuts that time in half. It cuts that time 2/3, right? By 2/3, it cuts it in 3/4, meaning it brings that time down for you, because investing and appreciating assets basically means you're investing into the market. When you're investing into the market, you're investing into companies that are appreciating over time, and those returns are giving you are compounding over time. Those returns, when you invest into an ETF, you're constantly investing into ETFs. No matter what, no matter the market's down, the market is up, it doesn't matter, because ETFs, especially VOO, VTI, QQQ, those top ones, naturally they give back good returns every year. So that money you're putting in year after year, is compounding over time. You want to be someone who makes changes to your mindset at every stage of life you hit. 21, you had a specific mindset. 22, now you have a different mindset. 23, you have a different mindset. 24, you have a different mindset. Every year of your life, you need to switch how you think. You need to shift your mindset. You need to change the way you see things, the way you approach things. And you have to learn from everything that you've already learned from the past and adapt and become someone who learns from the past, become someone who adapts to the past, right? Start thinking like someone who wants to build wealth. So that means focusing on your skills, not just the income, but focusing on your skills, whether you go out there and start becoming a video editor, right? So I'm gonna explain this to you. Doing this YouTube video stuff and YouTube in general has allowed me to become a better editor. Although I don't edit too much of the videos, but even cutting the videos is a skill, right? Because then I could go out and find a way to monetize this and become an editor for another creator, which I haven't done yet, but it's something I'm in the works of doing. But just by starting a little YouTube like this, I can edit my own videos. Now I have another skill in my back pocket. Now I can find a way to monetize this. That's just one skill. There's many more out there that you can learn. How to be someone who is posting on social media for content creators, right? Clipping videos and making money off of that. So there's multiple skills, and that's just a small one. Learn how to automate your savings and investments. All the videos I've put up in the past pretty much talk about the same thing. And all the future videos I'm going to make are pretty much going to always talk about the same thing. Automate savings, automate investments. Those are the most two important things. If you're not automating your savings, you're not automating your investments. This is something I wish I did earlier. Like, I honestly wish I did it earlier. I wasn't bullshitting or nothing, but it was just, I had to learn this. That's why I'm putting it out for you. So, whatever age you're at right now and you're listening to this, you can understand that you could start early. You should start early. You need to start early. Like, that's the most important thing. Starting early, understanding how to automate your savings, your emergency fund, having that as your egg nest so you can fall back on that. But then your investments are always reoccurring. Your investments are always multiplying, right? Because you're constantly investing on a week to week basis. Not just month to month, but on a week to week basis, your investments are being put in. Depending on how much you get paid, when you get paid, whether it's bi weekly or weekly, your investments are always reoccurring and they're automated. You have to treat money as a tool and not a trophy, right? You shouldn't be looking at money like, oh my God, I have this much, I have $5,000 in my account. Like, let me hoard onto this. No, you should look at it as a tool to build more. You should look at it as a tool to, okay, put it out there and put it to work. Allow it to go to work. So while you're sleeping, you're making money, right? And a lot of us, we hear this, but you don't necessarily understand what it means. That means there's a whole world happening while you're sleeping. The market's working while you're sleeping. Pretty much the money you put into these ETFs or these stocks, there's companies out there that are working consistently to beat profits, to beat earnings, and to grow, right? Because it's to their advantage if their stock is high, because that means it's more attractive to investors to invest into their company. So that's what investing into appreciating assets means stocks, ETFs, and getting into your Roth IRA account, going to your employer and seeing if they have a 401k. That's another thing. So treat money as a tool and not as a trophy. When you see wealth as a skill and not luck, everything in your mind changes. Your mindset changes. You have a mindset shift and you start understanding, okay, money isn't just something I need to hoard to. It's not something I need to hold on to, but it's something I need to use as a tool to build on it, right? Instead of 5,000, now I'm gonna have 6,000 because I'm investing into certain things. I'm investing into uh, stocks. I'm investing into ETFs. I'm investing into different appreciating assets. Even small, consistent actions, saving, investing, and learning, building new skills compound over time. Everything compounds over time. If you want to escape being broke, if you want to escape having a poor mindset, change how you think about money, change your habits, and change your values. Change the way you understand things, change the way your mind works, change the way you see things in the world. That's the real foundation for creating your wealth. Your mindset is the first step on how to actually build wealth. That mindset shift. That's why I said the title is literally, it's literally why being poor is for broke people. Why being rich is for broke people. The title is literally why being rich is for broke people with broke mindsets. There's an emphasis with the broke mindsets because rich, it's not that rich people are broke, but rich people are usually the ones that want to show people that they have money. Instead of being silent, right? The wealthy people are usually the silent ones. They're the ones that have assets that are generating wealth for them, but it's stealth. You don't know about it, right? They own this real estate property over here. They own this one over here, but you don't know about it. They don't boast too much about it. But rich people are the people that go out, jewelry, designer brand, everything on them Gucci, everything on them Balenciaga. They want to show people that they have money. That's a mindset shift you have to have in your head, is to understand that it's not what we show and to others that's our rich life, but it's how we work in the background, and it's how we operate in the background that's actually gonna allow us to create wealth. That's the foundation of everything. I honestly hope you found this video informative and it was able to help you to think a little bit different and to understand that you have to change your mindset on how you understand money and how you understand the psychology of money, right? If you like this video and you found it helpful, please like, comment, and subscribe. And comment down below what type of videos you want to see and what you actually learned from this video, because I think for the most part, a lot of us have a little bit of a misunderstanding about how money works, how stocks work, how investing actually works. So if you have any of those type of questions, please comment down below and let me know what's up. Peace.